Chrono and I back here with another video, and for today, I want to talk about some attachment cards that we might be sleeping on in Chaos Galaxy TCG. So this was something that I've been thinking about doing for a little bit now, but also got some confirmation from some folks in our Discord channel that wanted to have me explore some cards that we might be sleeping on that could see some potential play in the meta. And I wanted to start off with attachment cards. If you guys are a fan of this type of content related to Chaos Galaxy, what I can do is shift over to other types of cards, such as resources, activators, and creatures. And I can even do a subset of that, which is like combiners, maybe. But yeah, my goal is to kind of like explore some cards that are either slept on or could see potential play after the most recent ban list that we've had, maybe like a month or so ago. As people are still trying to figure out what's strongest in the meta, a lot of things have become more and more viable. And so, yeah, I think it's a good idea to kind of look at some things that might be some hidden tech that can boost up a lot of decks, right? All right, so I'm going to start from the right to the left. So I'm going to move these guys out the way so they do not interfere. So the first card here we have is Life Force Blade. This says the attached creature gains 50 power, and when it kills an opponent's creature, that killed creature loses any abilities that it has until after it is killed. Now, the thing I love so much about this card is I used to play this card a little bit in fight clubs, kind of here and there, like a while back. Just kind of testing it out and exploring it. I think what's super powerful about it is its ability to basically negate any on death abilities, which I think have always been super powerful in today's Chaos Galaxy meta. There are just a lot of creatures that just benefit from like being killed, and give your opponent a lot of momentum to move into another combo or something like that. And I think it'll be pretty nice to kind of like explore what this could do against certain annoying things that you don't want to allow to proc, after it dies. So let's look at a couple of examples here. So I'm going to insert some stuff. First thing that comes to mind is something like a lightning squaws for sure. So we'll put this over here. Now I'm also going to insert uh, something that is also, in my opinion, really good to play around is like chaos beast, for example, right? And I'm going to insert maybe a couple of the most annoying chaos beasts to get around. I think Stalius deserves a nod here as well. Okay, so let's just look at these three cards, for example. Obviously, if you're looking at going against a lightning squads, after it's killed by an opponent's attack, kill the creature that attacked it. Sometimes in your deck, if you don't have a small creature to just like play into this, this allows your opponent to kind of wall off and buy time. And if you're looking to keep your explosiveness going, something like Life Force Blade could be kind of interesting. And so now your 4-star, 5-star, or above creature um, trades or doesn't have to trade into this creature, if that makes sense, right? You're looking to get damage, you're looking to press forward, and so it'll be cool to just negate that by slapping on Life Force Blade. Similarly with Cerberam, um, allowing them to free play another creature from the deck, or just the 430 health in general, that combination of things can be very annoying. And so let's just take the mirror match, for example. Let's say you're going against a Sindel player as a Sindel player. If you slap Life Force Blade with your Skelequeen, now she's 450 and cancels out the Cert Bram ability. And what I think is so useful about this in this particular matchup is that you usually get Skelequeen back very often. And so you can hold on to Life Force Blade until an opportune time to kill a creature 430 or higher, especially because sometimes Sindel does struggle with swinging over 440, 430, and 450, things like that. And so this gives a little bit of extra utility. Um, and puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing here. And then obviously you would need something a little bit stronger to go into Stalius. So let's think of a good example here. Um, I mean, I guess anything 420 or 430, you slap this onto it, it does pretty well. Um, or also, what's kind of interesting here too is uh, what if you KO'd their Stalius and then use Life Force Blade into it, right? Now they don't get the ability to you have Stalius bring back something strong like a Young Galleon, um, or even like uh, a Zenshi, things like that, right? So you're stopping them from getting access to this other big creature. Um, KO is very popular right now too. And Life Force Blade just kind of helps you play around that tempo because sometimes what they bank on is like, okay, you kill my Stalius, now I get a big body for next turn, and you know I can keep going and keep getting more and more benefits off of that. And Young Galleon specifically, which plays into their ability to draw as well. So I don't know, just an interesting thought there. I thought that was kind of cool as far as Life Force Blade and something that I think might be a little slept on right now. Next up, we have Lake of Myth. Lake of Myth says attached to a 3-star or lower Pelisium creature, its power and health become equal to the power and health of one of your killed 6 or 7-star Pelisium creatures, as long as it's not a question mark power or health creature. For example, like Diabacadra. But anything else is pretty much fair game. Now, the thing I like about this card specifically in the current meta is that I think that Pelisium struggles when it comes to trading the lower creatures and buying time until you're able to build up into your big creatures. And with Crozen being limited to one copy, the deck space is already kind of tight. So, do you really want to run 2 Helpo Belts? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think if you squeeze this in, Helpo Belt becomes a little bit more justified because if you naturally draw into your Crozen, at least you have Helpo Belt to help you get this other attachment. Then maybe you run other attachments like for cell sign as well. But I thought this was kind of interesting because this basically turns one of your cheaper creatures into a bit of a small tower while you get ready to regenerate your hand, regenerate your resources, and bring out one of your actual big guys. And so, one of my favorite examples for this as a 7-star, as you can see me typing here, would be Stomposaurus. Stomposaurus was a very slept on card. I included it in a Pelisium deck that I got top 4 with. It was mainly centered around 7 stars, so I focused on Diabacadra, but I also like the fact that Stomposaurus having that 400 health made it super, super bulky, right? And so this says attached to a 3-star or lower Pelisium creature, it gains its power and health. I'm sorry, no, it becomes, right? It becomes its power and health, which is fine as well. Um, some useful examples here could be your Zamazed, which you want to play anyway to get more zones and get your combo set up for Crozen. Even things like a Droplet Squads, right? So we normally put Droplet Squads down sometimes to stall out a turn, trade into a small creature, and then when it dies, it's going to allow us to draw a card. Now, what's super powerful about this is imagine you have a 290, 400 Droplet Squads, which only cost you 2 stars. Not only does it buy you time, but it soaks up a lot of resource removal that they wanted to save for your bigger creatures in the first place, right? So if they're sitting there and they're like, okay, this Droplet Squads is huge, it's 290 attack and 400 defense or 400 health, you have to deal with that. Like you can't let that sit there on the field and just constantly wear you down. And so now they're wasting things like potentially a for sale sign, a galaxy crash, or things of that nature on one of your smaller targets. And then when you follow up with things like a Cranchon or anything else that's big in Pelisium, um, now that's one less card that they get to use against you. The thing I also want to add on to this concept is the fact that Leviathan Crown is at 2 copies. And so now you're saving your Leviathan Crown for your bigger creatures, and they wasted a lot of resource removal on one of your smaller creatures. and it's recyclable if you use the hammerhead shark, right? So you're recycling a small guy that soaked up a lot of their resources and put a lot of pressure on, all for the cost of an attachment card, right? So I don't know, just something to think about. And right now, I think Polysium does need a little bit of spice in it, a little bit of something to make it more viable in the current meta. Because right now, I think it is a little bit hindered. So just something to think about as far as like applications of cards like this. So I do this and do this. All right, next up we have Anti-Thamulet, one of my one of the cards I thought was the coolest when I first got into the game. I was like, look at all these effects, like, and I really like the artwork as well. But it says when the attached creature is killed by an opponent's attack, apply one of the following abilities depending on the attacking creature's planet, right? Now, what's really interesting about this is that I think there are some side deck applications for a card like this, right? We moved into a ban list where a lot of things were moved out of the ban list, and there's a lot of space in your sideboard now. You get 6 cards. It used to be a time where it's pretty straightforward. You wanted to run like 2 Flooper, 2 Shockwave 8, 2 Abandonment. But with a lot of those cards, actually, with all 3 of those cards being cut to 1 copy, now you have 3 other deck slots to think about, right? And so I thought this was kind of cool because maybe this covers one of your weaker matchups, or just gives you something to kind of keep pace, right? Because think about, let's just go one creature at a time. So Shias, free play one of your killed creatures. So if Shias becomes popular, or you're concerned about that matchup, and you have Anti-Thamulet, it says free play one of your killed creatures. Like it doesn't give a star restriction or anything like that. Obviously, Chaos Beast would not apply, but just imagine they swing into you, and you're like, okay, let me just free play my Pelfam, or free play a Young Galleon, or something like that. I think that's very underrated. Barrow has creeped back into the meta as well. The Barrow's line says, "Kill all creatures in your opponent's battle zone." What? Like what? That is so underrated. You're telling me if I slap this on my creature and I'm going against Barrow and they're trying to swing into me with a Blazing Elixir Queen or something like that, or they're using Avalanche Overlord, or they're just trying to blow through my board, or they have these annoying sticky creatures like Atatrox that if they attack into my creature, I just get the Galaxy Crash everything in the battle zone. Or Beast of the Black Hole is a better analogy. Sorry about that. I think that's very underrated as well. So that's 2 planets down, both of which are meta viable right now. Let's move on to the next one. Sindel. If your creature dies by a Sindel creature, you just get to draw 2 cards. Um, that could be very, very oppressive. Imagine if you just, and you can slap this onto any creature that's just like annoying for them to want to swing over. Similarly, as a concept to the Lake of Myth example that I gave before, it could be a small creature. So you could have something like a Thorngabort or a Droplet Squaws that they're not going to waste big removal on it, right? Especially if they've already used like for sale sign, for example. They're probably not going to Galaxy Crash it. They're going to look for a unique way to try to kill it. And this just might give you an opportunity to just draw 2 cards. Ascendian is not as popular, but I thought what was really interesting is that it just says kill 2 random cards in your opponent's hand. Um, that could just break a lot of people, especially if their hand is already low. You just automatically get an example, and so get in an advantage. Sorry, get an advantage, for example. So just think about like if Syndian does creep back into the meta, or a popular Syndian creature just in general killing one of your creatures. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. Let's move on to Gaios. Gaios being definitely a tier 1, maybe lower to tier 1, high tier 2 right now, but still very popular. If a Gaios creature kills your creature, kill any 1 card on your opponent's planet. That could be attachment, resource, or just another creature in general. So you just get a free pop. You just get the trade immediately, effectively. Um, Roka is, and here's what's really cool. The 2 planets that I think have the weakest ability from this are really not that popular right now. A lot of people are not playing Roka. but it says your opponent just loses 2 points. I mean, that's still applicable. So if you already have it in your sideboard and you just decide to slap it in against a that one-off Roka matchup that you get in the tournament, I mean, I think it could still be valuable. Similarly, Polysium, you just get the free play a creature from your hand. Probably not as good, but the thing I like about this is that sometimes Polysium will swing into you with just one creature, and then they'll wait for you to try to get rid of that big creature, right? So they don't mind swinging into it and allowing themselves to build up into a better board state. Like sometimes they only have one creature zone, one battle zone, one resource zone, and they trade into your creature, and now you just get to free play something and use that going into your next turn. So underrated in my opinion, and I might be exploring this card myself and seeing how it works out. Now, this card right here, this is one that I think we've definitely been sleeping on for an extremely long time. And I think with a lot of deck spaces starting to open up in certain decks, or a lot of flexibility as far as the type of tech that you can play, there's room for cards like this. And this is Kopech's Helmet, which says the first time you play this card, attach it to any zoned creature. Once again, any zoned creature with an ability. And then when that attached creature is killed, return this to your hand, and the second time you attach this card to a creature, it gains the ability of that first attached creature. Now, me just reading this slow, I just also picked up on something that I didn't notice before. It says it gains the ability of the first attached creature, which is insane. And I want to double check the ruling on this with judges and things of that nature, but if it gains the ability, then that means now I have a creature with double benefits. So let's look at some potential examples. What is a good example here? Okay, I'll start off really simple with the Skelly stuff, right? So let's look at like Skelligast. Um, yep, let's look at Skelligast, and then let's look at Skelequeen. Um, And then for the sake of illustration, I'll insert a card that's not even from Sindel, right? Okay, so let's imagine this is a turn, and I want to be a very good illustrator here. So I'm actually going to insert some zones here. Search. There we go. Battle zone. Okay, insert. Creature zone. Come on. There we go. There we go. Apologies for the delay and the lag, but I think it'll be nice if you guys are able to see exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, cool. So let's say this is a scenario, right? So you have your Skelligas, you just played it, you paid 1 star, you paid your 4 stars, and now you get a 2 creature board such as this. Now, before you attack, you attach Kopech's Helmet to Skelligas. Now, the Skelly strategy in general, you don't mind your stuff dying, and you can trade into boards very aggressively because you rely on your stuff being killed and then reviving very easily on the following turn. So imagine you attack, and then they play our favorite card, Beast of the Black. Come on. There you go. Beast of the Black Hole. They're like, oh snap. You're gonna attack me. Okay, Beast of the Black Hole. Okay, cool. Kopech's Helmet comes back to our hand, and both of these guys die, right? They use their one of Beast of the Black Hole. On our next turn, I can play Droplet Squaws if it's killed by an attack, I draw a card, and then slap a Kopech's Helmet on it. Now, according to Skelligast's ability, it just says you can pay 1 star to free play one of your killed Sindel creatures with 80 or less health. Well, Skelequeen qualifies. It doesn't say I need a Sindel next to it, and now you have your Skelequeen just right back, right? And what's powerful about that is now it turns Kopech's helmet into an additional Skella Gas revival. And so if we look at the current number of revivals that we have, I think, okay, so we have Skella Gas is at 2 copies, and then we have Bone Ladder, right? Bone Ladder is not limited, so that's also at 2 copies. And then let's say we also have 3 unique planets, which is very easy to do in a build like Sindel. And so now we can run Forces of Justice. And so look at that. Oops, I didn't mean to highlight. I meant to clone the card. This is already 6 different opportunities for Skelligas to revive Skella Queen and put pressure on your opponent. And now you just added another 2 with Kopech's helmet. I think that's extremely insane. And once again, based on the ruling, if it gains the ability, now they have to deal with this droplet squads because I mean they're gonna have to deal with the droplet squads anyway, right? And so not only did I get to benefit of bringing back Skeleton Queen, which is a +1, now if they attack into me, I still get to draw 2. So I mean draw as well, like not draw 2 cards, but draw as well, which I think is just super, super sweet. I don't know. I really like this concept and I think it's very underrated. And then lastly, I'll give another example here of like Scoria Carrier, for example, right? Now, Scoria Carrier is currently limited to 1 copy. We can get rid of this other stuff for now. Yeah, Scoria Carrier is limited to 1 copy, but Scoria Carrier says once per turn, if you have 2 or more Shias creatures, you can draw a card. So if you add this into your Shias deck, now Kopech's helmet gives you 3 copies of Scoria Carrier, right? You know, give or take, give or take. I mean, really, you're probably only going to get this off 1 time because you'll play Scoria Carrier and then you'll attach Kopech's helmet and then trade in, you know, unless you have some way to revive Scoria Carrier, which there aren't many options right now. But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. And there's plenty of other applications that I haven't even considered. I mean, what if this works with Chaos Beast? Let's double check that. The Chaos Beast says this cannot be free played if Syndian is your planet. This card gains 100 power. If the zone creature is killed, free play any Syndian creature. I could very much copy the ability of a Chaos Beast. And now I have an opportunity to revive and just keep things going from there. But yeah, you know, all in all, I hope this gives you guys a little bit of insight to some cards that we might want to play with. If you're looking for something to kind of spice your deck up, maybe some new strategies, these might be the way to go. Life Force Blade, Lake of Myth, Anti-Thamulet, and Kopech's Helmet. This is Chrono Knight. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want more videos like this. Like I said, I can do other categories, resources, creatures, activators. And yeah, let's just keep exploring and trying new strategies. All right. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.